Greg, why are you an hour and a half late to record the podcast?
Yeah, Craig.
Yeah.
I was going to blame Chris because he was an hour and a half late also, but you're an hour and a half plus one, so you're the latest one.
Yeah.
Damn
I bet you was watching this one TikTok that I was not just watching where had a girl playing bagpipes, a girl playing the violin, and a guy in a horse mask playing the drums on a plastic bucket in the bathroom, and they were playing whatever that "Devil Came Down to Georgia" song was.
Yeah, that's the song. The devil went down to Georgia.
Yeah, or "Devil is just Alabama."
No. I mean he might live here, especially during the summertime, but just part-time residents.
Because you didn't have any free RPG days down where you were. I have plenty up here running it myself.
If I had decided to drive to Birmingham, I'm sure I would have found some no problem. But that was a little further than I was wanting to go. So instead, I drove an hour in the other direction and found none. I should have just gone west. Instead, I went northeast.
To be fair, like I check out some forums and other places for tabletop role-playing content, and there's a lot of stores that just don't do free RPG day, and they don't do free comic book day either. I think a lot of it is just there's just not a lot of people knowing that it happens, and it happens in the middle, end of June.
I had no idea it was even happening until I woke up that morning and saw a post about it on Facebook. Because maybe I should go try to get some of these modules, of which I managed to get exactly 0 of them, and I'm very saddened by that. So hopefully you got me some goodies.
I got some good ones. So yeah, I knew about it for a while. I had it run at my local gaming store last year, and we gave away probably about half the stuff. It wasn't really that successful.
Mm-hmm.
But this year I told them, I was like, hey, let's get the kit in. Let's get it a little bit earlier than last minute. Let's promote it heavily. And they did. They were all for it. And, we had 7 tabletop games run throughout the day. I ran 2 of them. I ran a learn to play D&D session first, which really was not part of the free RPG day, but it just fit the theme,
Right.
So a lot of people showed up for that. People took all the free dice they could. People took all the modules that they could. There were only a small stack of maybe 1 or 2 modules left. So overall, it was very successful. A lot of good stories came from it, which we'll handle in a second. But going back to other places, there are a lot of people complaining, on EN World, that just no local gaming stores running it.
Yeah.
And are there comic book stores anymore? Because we don't have any in this area.
Oh no, there definitely are. If I went to Birmingham, about 45 minutes or so from here, I know for certain there's at least 2, and I'm sure there's more. I've been to 2 different ones that are up there.
Because this is the same group that does the free comic book day, and you get the, just DC and Marvel and other indie developers. You get comics, but
specifically comics. Just thinking about it, within a 45-minute drive, there's at least 4 of them near me.
There may be 1, and it's half gaming store, half comic shop.
Yeah, we have more comic stores here than we do, quote unquote, tabletop gaming stores. There's a number of card stores. You play Magic, you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you play Pokemon. Every other little city around here has their own store for that. But if you do tabletops or a lot of board gaming, it's definitely hard to find places like that around here.
Interesting. All right. So
you live in a town with a 250,000 people, so I have to drive 45 minutes to get anywhere near that.
More like 500,000 now. It's very crowded.
Yeah, you got a lot of people that live there, whereas I don't. Anyway,
but we ran it. It was fairly successful. When I did the learn to play, a family showed up with 3 of their kids. One of them was 6, and then the next one was 9. And then they had a
little young
preteen. He actually did the best.
The 6-year-old or the 9-year-old?
The 6-year-old. he he knew enough that he had to roll a d20, and the d8 was his damage.
Okay.
And all he wanted to do was attack things. So I ran the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle Learn to Play module, which is just the beginning of Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. And as your ship is sailing to the Isle, this weird sea monster just hops on board and demands tribute for like the sea queen that lives underneath the ocean. And without missing a beat, the 6-year-old's like, I want to hit it with a fireball. Like,
you know, he definitely has gamer parents.
it's like, so okay, you want to hit it with your produced flame ability? Okay, go ahead and do that. And so we start the combat, and he was on the ball. Yeah, and all the other kids did a great job. The parents were there, helping him with the sheets. I didn't have to explain any of that, which was great.
Yeah.
Went through the whole story, and it was just interesting watching all the kids play and have a good time. And after that, Dungeon Lord Jay, who's been on the podcast for a few times, he went and played the Xanathar Stolen Fish one-shot module for a bunch of people. People played Vampire Masquerade. I think twice.
Wow, that's still around.
Yeah, one
Crazy.
guy actually came in with like the rule book and like showed everybody how to play it.
Which edition do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Probably the latest one, because that's the one that was handed out.
Yeah, I mean, if he's looking to get people to play that game more regularly, it would make sense because you have to go online. It's a lot harder to get the older stuff.
And then we played a couple of just other 5e adventure stuffs, and it went pretty well. I was there for about half the day. I gave everything away. A bunch of people bought some D&D stuff. It was overall a good success, I thought.
I saw you gave out some free swag there. I saw a stack of dice and some stickers and other things.
Yeah, that went. All the dice went out really quick.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Just gone immediately. But all the modules and stuff that they had there were really good. I was able to grab a couple that I wanted to run, and those are the only ones that, like, I was gonna wait to see what people wanted or didn't want by the end of the day, and like there was nothing. There was one Pathfinder module left, which was surprising.
Yeah, hopefully you got it for me.
No, it disappeared after I looked away and looked back, and it was gone.
There were literally only 3 modules I wanted to get: Pathfinder, Starfinder, and the Dungeon Crawl Classics. And you did say you got the Dungeon Crawl Classics one, right?
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay.
I had to use it to start my fire this evening, though. But
well, I guess I'll take just the cover then. I'll fill in the rest myself.
It was really good. I can't wait to run it next year, and maybe we'll get a module in sometime.
Yeah. Speaking, you were mentioning that probably not. You mentioned the whole idea of finding these things was kind of hard in the first place, at least from what you're reading online. And I did go to several local-ish stores up in Gadsden, Alabama, it's a decent sized city, but obviously not big enough. The one place I thought would have it, because they've been around for like 20 years, was Dragon Quills, and I've been there a lot over the years. And I get up there, it's 1:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and they're closed. Like I don't know why. I was very just dumbfounded, but I need to ask some of my friends, like, figure out what the hell was going on there. So I went into another store a few miles down the road that I had never been to, and I was talking to the owner, really nice guy. They primarily deal in Magic and Pokemon. They had some video games they were selling and some pop figures, like a lot of your nerd stores do. And he was interested in getting into like bringing in for role playing to sell. And he was asking me what for Dungeons and Dragons should he get, just trying to get a little feedback and ideas. And like I had to tell him, I've moved away from Dungeons and Dragons. I'm playing Dungeon Crawl Classics at this point. I really and truly couldn't tell him what people would want to buy, other than I told him the core books, the Player's Handbook, DM's Guide, and the Monster Manual. Because if you're going to get into Dungeons and Dragons, you need those. But beyond
Yeah.
that, I have no clue what's even coming out other than I know a Planescape thing's coming out sometime within a year or so, and that's all I got at this point.
Bigby comes out in August. Then the Lost Mines of Foundelver rewrite that's now called like Foundelver and the Shattered Obelisk or something like that is coming out in October. Then there's the Deck of Many Things book that's on the docket, and the Planescape book that's on the docket, and that's it for 5th edition.
Yeah.
And then there's supposed to be some kind of Vecna module adventure coming out soon or something like that.
But yeah, it's just more of the idea of, is anyone buying Dungeons and Dragons at this point?
Well, I mean, at my store on Saturday, yes. I got people to buy the core set of books. I got people to buy the latest adventure a couple times. So, I mean, there are people still buying the stuff. It's just not flying off the shelf like it used to.
Yeah, like we have a large bookstore that I go to at least once a week out here. Like they've got comics and just a shitload of nerd stuff, and they have an entire table devoted to Dungeons and Dragons, as well
Yeah.
as a shelf devoted to D&D and role-playing games. And every time I walk in there, it is completely full, as if though nothing has ever sold. So,
Well, the issue is that when you go into your local gaming store and you want to buy let's just say the core rule books, okay?
mhm.
Let me open up Amazon here real quick just to prove my point. D&D core rule book.
Go Amazon powers.
Yeah. So where's the bundle? Here it is. So the bundle here, that's the fancy special foil covers with the slipcase and a DM screen, and you get the monster manual, the DM's guide, and you get the player's handbook. That right now is $93, discounted down from $170. Okay. I don't know the exact price that my store buys those books at, but I'm going to guess, an educated guess, that it's close to that $90.
Probably so, yeah.
So they have no way to move a profit unless they charge 110, 120. Another example that I could probably actually provide, I don't know how much the store's charging because I haven't looked at those prices, but let's look at the Onslaught D&D game that came out. Okay, this is one of the games I was supposed to demo, but nobody wanted to play it, so I didn't crack open the box.
Is it a
I
board
didn't
game?
crack open. It's a board game that kind of like plays like HeroClix,
Oh, okay.
and that's the best way to explain it.
Did I not
You-
hear about this thing?
Probably not. So it has like these big unfoldable maps, okay, like board game style maps, and you pick a team, whether it's the Harpers or the Zentarum, and then you basically play through a bunch of modules that you draw randomly through a bunch of cards. Very similar to the old 4th edition games, but the difference here is like the hero cards are like these. You have a mini for your character, and then you have a hero card, and the hero card has like these little dials on it that you turn around, and it kind of looks a lot like HeroClix.
Yeah. I like
So like
HeroClix.
so as you're playing your character, you're playing the barbarian, and you take damage, you just move the damage dial up a couple. Now you're dealing more damage, and you're taking less damage every time you take a hit. So it's very hero clicky. And the selling point of this game is that they sell like expansion sets, like different armies
Yeah,
or different
naturally.
groups that you can play. All the models are high quality models that are fully painted and have a lot of extra spell effects to them. So like in the base kit, I think you get
12 minis. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, you get 12 minis. That's the Harpers and Zentarum.
Yeah. No, but then you also get like
Yeah,
two-headed Enton, some gnolls, a troll,
looks like a
a
dragon
bunch of
also.
kobolds. Yeah, and then you get an adult size black dragon.
Yeah.
All right, that's the like 5-inch or 4-inch base.
As well as
It
the
comes in a-
boards and
yeah.
all the other little
And then
knickknacks you need.
if you buy another set, like like the Order of the Gauntlet group, whatever
Mhm.
that's, can't remember the name of it. That's another 6 minis you get there that are fully painted with a bunch of stat cards and stuff like that. So Onslaught is selling at the store right now for $140 for a brand new box. Amazon's selling it for 108.
Yeah, it's 105 for a new one on eBay that I'm looking at right now.
And that's the problem with what what you said is like the stores can't compete at selling these things at the price they need to sell them at.
Yep. I mean,
Because
that's been an issue for a long time. That's nothing new.
I know it's nothing new, but it's hurting. Like they my LGS has asked me, it's like, what's the point of buying all these D&D books? We'll pre-order them, sure, but you can still get them cheaper off of Amazon.
Yep.
It's disheartening. I don't know what to do. Like, I bought the next 2 books off of the D&D store because I get the book for D&D Beyond with it, and I usually get the book early. We're not press release material list yet, so we
Yeah.
don't get books early for review. That's the best we can do. But at least I'm making up for my friends at the LGS, because as a friend to the store, I'm going to support them. I'm going to give them money. I'm not going to ask for a discount.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give them money. I'm going
That
to buy the books.
and that's the key. And I understand at least a lot of hardcore gamers understand that and follow through with that.
Yeah.
When I bought my Dungeon Crawl Classics, I bought it directly from Goodman Games website. When I like Bruce sent me the Pathfinder main book, but every other single book that I have purchased has been from a local store.
Yeah.
But you get new people coming into this who, some of them, like the ones that were at the store you were talking about this weekend, sure, they're going to buy local, but a lot of people who aren't heavily invested to this type of gaming, they're just going to go online and get it for half the cost or just a lower price in general, and
So
can't prevent it.
yeah, and circling back to the free RPG day, we generated a lot of traffic for the store. A lot of people came in. Most of them just picked up modules. A bunch of people were looking at the D&D section. People bought D&D books, which was great. People bought some dice, which was great. We gave away everything that the kit had, essentially, except the minis that I stole. Because I have a mini problem. I have a mini problem, boss.
You really do. You really do.
I have to buy the minis.
I'm actually surprised you haven't bought Onslaught already, because there's minis in there.
It's I had to save up for the Lord of the Rings release.
Okay.
Just say that.
Fair. And now that I know this game exists, by the way, I will almost certainly be buying it at some.
Oh yeah, it's well worth the price at $140, in my opinion.
Yeah, if I saw it locally, I would buy it locally. If I don't see it locally, then I probably will order it.
Yeah,
but that's how.
One thing I wanted to say is that when we got the RPG kit, there were a lot of things in there that were just product that we could sell. We decided as a store to kind of like hold back some of that stuff and not just give it away, because there were 2 paint sets, so if someone came in and was like, oh, I was looking to see if they had a paint set for free RPG day, like they have done that in the past, I would have given them one. But like last year they gave away like 10 or so like Graveyard Crypt paint sets, which is cool. That's tentative. That's 10 people getting them. But this year they had the high quality WizKids paint by numbers miniature sets. So we were able to shift those from the free RPG day to we're giving them out for the GDM tournament instead for game prizes.
Okay.
But when I was reading through the actual sheet that said, hey, this is part of the kit, feel free to give them away. You can make people pay for these and use them as just general stock inventory. We can't stop you, but please don't. And I'm sitting there like, what kind of asshole store owner would get free RPG day material and then put it up on the shelf at a price?
I mean, what kind of an asshole store owner would start cracking boxes of Lord of the Rings, Magic the Gathering collectors before the set has even been released and then selling them online.
They were allowed to.
Doesn't matter if you're allowed to. They
They
should have
were
been
allowed.
told. They should have been
They
told you're
were.
not allowed to, and then it's a dick move to do that in the first place.
The stores were provided a box each to crack open, as long as they put it up on stream or something, and allowed to sell as singles or whatever way they pleased.
If WotC said, "Hey guys, you get one box. You
Yeah.
can you have to stream the openings and you can sell it." I don't care about that. That's okay because that's WotC saying, "Hey, you can do this."
Even my store did one, oddly enough.
Yeah,
They don't crack boxes at all.
Yeah, well, but you know good and damn well that a lot of these people were cracking extra boxes.
Oh yeah. It was the Lord of the Rings is still an interesting thing, and still no one has the card so far.
Yeah,
so.
the One Ring. I mean,
Plenty of fakes out there.
Oh, sure. The One Ring will be found at some point for certain, and after that happens, the price on every single unopened box is just going to tank.
I heard a vicious rumor, a vicious thought that there is a collector's kit of Lord of the Rings cards coming out in a couple months. That is like the holiday gift set.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And while it is not a collector booster box, it does contain collector booster packs in that gift set. So
it's feasible the One Ring is not even out there yet.
The One Ring isn't even out there yet and is in one of those boxes, possibly intentionally.
Huh. I mean that because if it hasn't been found by the point those come out, and then people find out that those collectors boosters are in that, then they're going to sell more product.
I mean, people are chasing the golden ticket here. $2 million for a piece of cardboard. Yeah. I am of the more Occam's razor. I thought that it's in some collector's basement in his pallet or two of Lord of the Rings collector booster boxes that he bought.
Probably.
And there forever it will sit.
Well, the thing is, nobody ever sits on boxes like that forever. It may be 20. It may be 20 years down the road, but that collector will sell those off at some point, and people will crack those, possibly on stream, possibly at their home. It like the One Ring, if it's a thing, it will be found at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But right. I'm of the mindset. I really wish I had a few $1 million, and then I was the guy to crack that open. Because if I was already set and didn't need that level of money, I would take it and I would throw it in the volcano. Fuck that one card.
That would be the most epic, most successful YouTube video I think of all time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
you gotta call up Mr. Beast and say, "Hey, I just cracked the One Ring. Fly me to Hawaii. Make a video out of it. I'll throw it in the volcano."
Yep.
Like that would generate so much revenue.
I mean, honestly, if and I'm not going to crack it because I'm never going to buy those packs, but if I cracked it and somebody said they would give me $1 million for me to throw it in the volcano, I would do that over the $2 million.
Well, but the current offer right now is $2 million and a falafel dinner.
Oh, well, now that's the selling point right there.
Yeah, a falafel dinner, man.
I'm not going to turn that down. Jeez.
So back to actual.
Back to actual tabletop role playing. I mean, sometimes we talk WotC. let's be real.
So I finished the maps for my my GDM tournament.
Yep.
And I was actually ran it on stream on Saturday. Anyone who may be listening to the podcast, it's going to be in the tournament. I already took down the video, so you can't watch it. Haha. You could have watched it when I actually streamed it. I didn't really care. But
so maybe somebody will have a leg up if they're lucky.
Maybe, probably not. I watched. It was a very successful stream. We had, at least for us, we had 19 unique viewers. We had an average viewership of 11, which is great. You know. I mean, those are rookie numbers. I need to pump them up, but
Yeah, but
one day,
yeah, it's a Friday. People don't like to
Saturday.
be at home. Whatever. People aren't home on Saturday either.
Yeah, they are. We're playing D&D.
Yeah, but they're not watching the stream.
Anyways, so we ran through it, and it was amazing. It was just chaotic and hilarious. The players, without talking to each other, okay, each rolled up a Tortolan something or other.
Oh,
We had a
no.
warlock, cleric, and then a paladin / barbarian. The paladin was first until the barbarian died, but the fourth player didn't. He rolled up a tabaxi something.
Jeez,
A tabaxi
even
rogue.
worse.
And then the best part is I start getting their models in to look at them, and I look at the Tortolan cleric, and he looks like Mo Howard.
You may want to explain to people who Mo Howard is, because the people under 40 might not know.
No, I'm not, because I don't want to have a Matt Damon scene. So the Tortelian cleric looks like Mo Howard, and I look at the warlock. The warlock looks like Gul'dan, and then the barbarian and the paladin were the exact same model, because they were brothers, except one wielded the maul and one wielded the great axe, which I think is the best thing ever. And it looked like Spike from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Okay. Also another Matt Damon moment. So we start this thing off, and they all admitted to each other live on stream, but again, without talking to each other at all, that they were surprised that they were all Tortolans, and that they all were playing evil characters, except for the one cleric that was playing like the divine order of peace and order.
Oh no.
So they start basically like PvPing each other almost immediately. All right.
Of course.
The warlock uses like Thunderstep to get across the gap, which hurts the other two players that are close by. Yeah. So in retaliation, the paladin threw a javelin with a rope tied around it into the warlock. So I didn't have to do anything. They just killing themselves the entire time. So they got up to the second to last room on the first level. And after that, it's just 2 fights. So they were able to test out all the mechanics that I needed to for the dungeon fairly well.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm really hoping that people complete the dungeon this time. That's why I kind of wrote a smaller, lower level one instead of Tomb of Horrors at level 11, because no one came close to completing it. Yeah. It was just too complicated, which is good. I didn't mind that it was too complicated. I just kind of wanted something to actually be completed. So we'll see how this goes. And overall, it went great. I got to use Craig and Flicker again. I threw my cat Blaze in there. He's in a dungeon. And I would say the rooms that they had the most fun in were the rooms that were created by my daughter. Honestly.
Of course. I mean, hey, look, we all know that she is more creative than any of us.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Because she's a small child, and small children have huge imaginations.
Like I said, and going back to the D&D game, the Learn to Play one with the 6 and the 9-year-old, that 6-year-old, man, he was just on the ball. Just like, my name is Soren. I'm going to throw fire at people. Throw fire at him. I'm going to throw fire at him. Like, this huge amount of zombies just came out of nowhere. He's just like, all right, I'm going to run away. I'm done. I'm running. They can't stop me. So he was on the ball. It was great. So
that's great.
And even at the end too, he was like, "Hey, here's some Pokemon cards." He gave me Pokemon cards. It was so
hell yeah.
It was so sweet. I was like, "Oh,
well,
man."
It was very nice of him.
Yeah. Now and on top of that too, he gave me an Onyx and a Steelix, so I could evolve my Onyx.
Okay.
Yeah, that kid's going places.
He's going places. So we're talking modules. I've been doing the Dungeon Crawl Classics thing. I ran a module first, and then I got to play one yesterday. So the one I ran is a very well-known published module. within the Dungeon Crawl Classics community. It's the most famous module out there. It is called Sailors on the Starless Sea.
Okay.
And yeah, I've talked enough about Dungeon Crawl Classics. You make a bunch of characters, you try to get them all through it at the same time. Everybody was running 3 characters. And
Okay.
it's broken up into halves, basically. So the first half of it is the exterior of the keep. And getting up to the keep, they went up a causeway where they had to fight a couple of plant zombie beings. And one person lost a character during that fight because you have no hit points at all. Like 4 hit points is about the highest anyone's going to have. So everybody else makes it up the causeway after killing the zombie things. They go through the portcullis. Well, one of the characters that was randomly generated had a cow. And for whatever reason, this character decided to take the cow with him. Well, they had to jump a small gap to get into the portcullis. So he's like, oh, well, I'm just going to take the cow back down the causeway. I'll tie him up on the tree line somewhere. So he's the last one going into the portcullis. Well, that module is written so that the last person going through the portcullis has to make a saving throw because there's some beastmen above you who try to drop the portcullis on you. So sure as shit, he completely failed his saving throw, got, just skewered by this thing, pinned to the ground, another dead character. They haven't even stepped foot in this place, and there's already 2 characters dead.
Yeah, but did he come back? Does his cow come back as an avatar of justice?
No, his cow is
Aw.
just a cow that
Boo.
I'm assuming somebody else that did survive probably took it with them. I will say looting other dead bodies, that's definitely a thing that happened a lot in this game. By the point they reached the halfway point, I don't remember the exact number of dead characters, but I think it was 6 or 7. One player actually lost all 3 characters by the halfway point. Now, the halfway point is kind of nice, though. It is set up so that if you've lost characters, you can get more characters because you find some people who are chained up to a wall. So they unchain all of them. Hey, look, you need new characters. You get a new character. You get a new character. You get 3 new characters.
Okay.
But anyway, they go further down into this thing, and it's the Starless Sea, which was the name of the module, Sailors on the Starless Sea. So there is a sea or large lake underground, completely hidden from view that nobody knew about. What they also didn't know about was that there is a Leviathan living in there.
Okay.
Like there's a Kraken that lives in that fucking lake. And the Chaos Lords that used to reside in that castle had made a deal with it. So it would let the cultist and the beastmen and everybody pass so long as you did the right things. If you don't do the right things, it will sink your boat and it will be a TPK. And when I read this module, I was very concerned. I was really concerned that was going to be where the game ends. And very fortunately, one player figured out what to do. Earlier in the module, they looted a small lockbox, and one of the players had the lockbox on them and wasn't going to ever open it because it was locked. Just threw it in a bag. I'm like, oh fuck, that's the thing they're going to need. That's the MacGuffin to get past the Leviathan. And fortunately, the same player who was smart enough to figure out how to get by the Leviathan mentioned that lockbox a little bit later. So they did crack it open. They got the MacGuffin, which is basically some incense. And when you get on the boat to go across the lake, you have to burn the incense, and then the Leviathan will think, oh, you're a cult member. So they were in a real dire strait. He did that. All right, problem solved. At that point, I breathe a huge sigh of relief. I'm like, oh my God, I might get to finish running this.
Okay.
So they get to the other side, and it's like a ziggurat with a whole 22 beastmen, as well as 3 more at the top. One of them's a shaman. So you're talking 25 beastmen versus a party of, I don't know, at that point, they probably had like 15, 16 characters. So massively overwhelmed. But they had 4 cultist robes. So a few of them were able to sneak by. And they actually did something that was really smart that was not in the module. and I ran with it. And the four with the cultist robes tied up all the other ones with slip knots, and then sort of dragged them up to the top of the ziggurat. So beastmen are like, oh, all right, well, these are more slaves that we're going to throw in the fire on the top of the mountain. But anyway, they get to the top of the mountain. They fight the beastmen that are up there. They survive the rest of the beastmen who were a little awestruck when a fight broke out. They ended up having to fight the big Chaos Lord that was summoned. And after another 5 or 6 character deaths, I would assume, a handful of characters made it through the whole thing. All in all, very, very well written module for Dungeon Crawl Classics. And I bring that up specifically because the one I got to play in last night was not a high quality module. My buddy Mike ran it, and he's a great DM. He ran it very well, but it was just very kind of poorly written. There's a lot of secret doors throughout the one that he ran. I don't have the name of it. I think it was a Cult of the Demon Skinwalker or some shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah. The boss that you end up having to fight in there it's just like human skin that has some magic. And it went late in the initiative order, so we just killed it before it really got to do anything. So not enough hit points or not enough of a threat to really be a challenge for 0 level characters. As well, there was one room that we went into that had it had a compass in there and like a center pedestal with a lever on it. And every time you pull the lever, the room would rotate. And there were essentially 6 nooks that you could open up with doors behind them. So we opened up all 6 of these fucking nooks, and every single one of them was just a trap. No payoff for going through that entire room. Nothing.
I love that. I love the useless rooms.
Yeah, like that. There has to be a payoff if you're going. I would have been fine with 5 nooks that did traps and 1 that actually had something of a payoff. But yeah, it was just kind of badly written.
Well, I mean, sometimes you just need a room to fill space.
Yeah, I know. I didn't mind it filling space, but that one, like we had to figure out how it operated. It wasn't just as simple as, like. I'm not going to go into the exact workings of it. It took us a little while to number out kind of how far this thing was rotating every click and what was going on. But just the fact that we opened 6 doors, all 6 were traps, no loot, no anything. Yeah. If I ever ran that module, and I wouldn't be opposed to running it again at some point, but I'd make a couple of changes, and that would be one of them.
I'll leave it as is.
Yeah. Yeah, you would, you bastard. Just leave it as is. If anything, the fact that I think maybe 1 character died to the traps. So knowing you would have just made every trap completely lethal.
No, I don't make every trap completely lethal. That's not fun.
I mean,
it's horribly disfiguring.
Okay. Well, that's fair. So, real quick, speaking of horribly disfiguring. So the first thing that we find when we get into that dungeon is a bowl that has a pile of ashes into it. And we quickly figure out, it's an offering bowl. So I throw in like a copper piece and it turns to ashes. And then one of the other players grabs one of the other characters and forces his hand into it. And his hand immediately turns to ashes.
No.
I know. So that, of course, that character with 1 hand survives the module. So he's now a 1st level adventurer. So
without a hand.
Yeah, it's our buddy Muffin, Jacob, who actually has that character. So if he wants to, he can play that character with no hand. I wish D&D or Pathfinder had the ability to sort of maim limbs and stuff. Just the removal of hands.
The rules exist, but they're not very useful.
It's not supposed to be useful. You're maiming a character.
Just mechanically, it's just annoying to work with it, and that's the issue. I think.
Why? You can't dual wield or use a shield properly. That's all.
No, it just gives you like disadvantage on stuff.
Well, that's fair. That's how it would work in 5e.
Yeah. So, one thing I wanted to bring up tonight is Foundry, the VTT that I use.
Yeah.
They announced, I think earlier this week, late last week, that they were developing their own in-game, within Foundry, gaming system for doing tabletop role-playing games.
Okay. Good.
They don't have any information about it really out right now. There's no like published materials, and that's a lot of people's complaint is like, hey, you're not publishing a rule book. Why not? They're VTT. They don't really need a rule book. You can't sit at a table and play it. You need the VTT to run it. You know. So they just have like one page of information on it, and a couple screenshots. Essentially, they're calling it Crucible as of right now. It's Foundry Crucible. Haha, get it?
Uh-huh.
It provides game masters and their players with a deep and engaging gameplay systems using the full capabilities of the Foundry virtual tabletop to offer a truly unique gameplay experience. You'll have guided class-less character creation with an emphasis on background and thematic choices. A bring your own setting experience for GMs that allows Crucible to be used with any setting and story. A purpose built approach to character skills with specialization options, granting unique benefits. A unique dynamic spellcasting system. An expansive talent system which encourages players to feel like their choices matter. And rules for a dynamic generation of scalable NPCs, streamlined for GMs to create their own creatures very quickly. And best-in-class automation for nearly every aspect of the rules. So essentially, that's all that they've have so far that they've shown, along with 2 screenshots. And the screenshot basically is like, if you watch my stream, that's what they're shown. But they use all the automation tools that Foundry can use that I don't use for my stream. So like you can click on a monster and then click on your attack, and your attack gets automatically rolled and damage gets assigned to the monster. And whether or not the DM is showing the monster's health, it goes down automatically and it's kept track of that way. When it reaches 0, it will flag him as dead, or if the attack has a poison on it, it will flag him as being poisoned. So all that kind of like
all the mechanics that you don't have to keep up with.
Yeah, but it's also very video gamey,
Yes, yeah, it is. That would be the case.
But so that's one screenshot that they're showing. The screenshot it doesn't really show like what kind of system it's using, like if it's like a D20 or D10.
Right. I mean, honestly, none of that would even matter if they're not going to release it in book form.
Yeah, it really doesn't. You have a couple resources. You have health, morale, action, focus, madness, and wounds. I had no idea how any of that works.
Yeah.
The attacks are using a D12, D8, and D6 that shows. Okay. There's resistances and a bunch of other stuff. So it looks fairly complicated, very video gamey, because you can automate a lot of that number crunching.
Right.
Think of like Diablo, where like, oh, I have a fire resist ring, and that adds resistance to me, and doesn't matter. I just put it on, and everything gets auto-calculated when I get hit by a fire spell.
Right.
So that's cool. But then what really kind of sold me and piqued my interest on the system is the talent system. Okay?
There we go. The feats.
So they decided to go with a Final Fantasy X grid system.
Okay. I will say I am a huge fan of that style.
Right.
That's real. Like Final Fantasy X to me is one of the best Final Fantasy games, and there are 2 primary reasons. One, I absolutely loved the story, and 2 was that system.
Yeah, I love the grid system that they used, and a lot of flexibility. You had your base class that you built into for each character, and then like from there you can start branching out to other characters' skills and whatnot. So this one, by the way, Diablo has the quote unquote sphere based system too, and that was a selling point, and that's horseshit.
Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah, their sphere based system. I can get
very linear.
I can get more intelligence. I can get more dex. Like that's what a lot of it is. It's not. I get a new skill that another class has.
Right. So this one, if you look at the screenshot, you have your character dead center, and then like you have like the different kind of classes, archetypes maybe surrounding it, and then you can start branching off. It could go a whole different direction, or kind of like stay close and kind of like feed off of each other. So I'm very interested in this,
Okay.
you know, and it may just be a strict, VTT only system, which is great. Um, and I'm interested in seeing more. If you sign up for their Patreon, you get early access to it. But it should come out here in a couple weeks, and maybe we'll fool around with it for a little bit and try to get some words
Yeah. Um,
on it.
yeah, I have two things that I'm thinking about this. So, you know me, I have very little interest to play tabletop role playing games online. But
Hmm.
I love video games. And
Yeah.
we play a lot of them together online. So if this is more video game esque, it actually might appeal to me. It might not appeal to the tabletop crowd as much, but it might appeal to people like me.
This this system, the way it's built out, um, to me feels like how I would approach selling it would be like this is Final Fantasy Tactics that you have a GM running the game for you.
Mhm.
So no AI computer running the other people that are on your grid fighting stuff.
Yeah,
You have an actual GM running the story for you, and you go through and do the tactic style gameplay. They did mention in their FAQ that the system is going to bring in like social skills and other outside of combat abilities into that sphere grid system as well.
yeah,
So it's definitely going to be a role playing game at its heart.
sure,
But
yeah,
just the battle is going to be very automated.
yeah. And I mean, I might actually like that better. Oddly enough,
Yeah,
making it automated, because one of my biggest problems with doing it online was just how long everything took. But
yeah,
if everything is already inputted and it speeds things up a lot, it might appeal to me more. I want to see it. I'm definitely willing to give it a look.
yeah.
Uh, my
I mean,
other my other thought on this was I also think this is another missed opportunity, because I understand that Foundry is a virtual tabletop, but if you're creating your own system, release books, sell books. I mean, there's money in that. Might not be a massive amount, but it's free money, because people like me, oh, new gaming system, hell yeah, I'm in. Let me see it.
well, the problem in this regard is that the the gaming system is going to require you use Foundry for it. You
If they
know,
if they have hard rules for this stuff, then you can put a book together. Like, this thing has to have some sort of a dice roller if it's going to be a tabletop thing. And if
yeah,
it has dice roller, or if you're using dice or cards of any type, it is a gaming system.
yeah, but I think that's where they get are kind of getting down, at least from the screenshot, where like they have bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, and poison resistance. So having to have a player keep track of that
They
and then do
already
the
do.
math on like what 2% damage reduction would be for a fire attack that hits you would just slow around the table down to a crawl.
Yeah,
Whereas in this system, it's automatic.
yeah, I guess. I I feel that they could easily convert it if they're doing something like this. I mean, there's
Now,
already video games like that. Baldur's Gate exists. All of these games that use the just straight up D&D rules. Solasta
well,
is literally just D&D, but it's a
yeah, but
video
look how different Baldur's Gate is compared to D&D 5e, and they're trying to get a 5e aesthetic to it. They can't even get advantage,
Yeah, well
or they can't even get difficulty checks right in the game.
that's why I
Yeah,
mentioned Solasta specifically,
yeah.
because it is literally just playing 5e D&D.
But it's easier to convert a system from hard book to video than it is to go from video to hard paper. It may just not be possible, and it may take too much development time to bring that in and actually work with it so it works that way, when they could just focus on making the VTT version of it better.
Yeah, maybe. I understand. Like I said, I get it. They are a virtual tabletop company, but it's kind of a crossover market. It wouldn't be hard, I think, for them to appeal to another crowd. Anyway,
Okay.
that's my thought on that.
All right. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get some more info.
Yeah, when you have more info, let me know. I want to take a look at it myself.
Yeah.
So other thing that happened this week was the Gloomhaven guys, Cephalofair, I think is the name of the company. They finally released the backer kit. I say backer kit because they're not using Kickstarter. They released the backer kit for the role playing game for Gloomhaven, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that all of the tabletop role playing stuff, everything, the cards that you're going to need, the books that you're going to need, the DM screen, is only $90. Because I was setting money back. I already had, like a few hundred I was willing to drop into this thing. And I'm only going to have to put $90 into it. And I'm a huge fan of Gloomhaven. I'm playing Frosthaven every other week with some friends. I know I've talked about it on here a few times. So anyone who's interested in it, look for it. It's the Gloomhaven. What are they calling it? It's like a big event that's going on right now. Where are you? The Gloomhaven Grand Festival. And they've been releasing updates for it. They're going to have this big thing. They're going to have a live play from GameCon, or they already had it apparently, with Deborah Ann Wool was in it, as well as a bunch of other personalities.
Yeah, it looks like Penny Arcade's running it on the 26th, but this podcast comes out on the 27th, so
well, maybe you might be able to go back and watch it somewhere.
Yeah. Looking at the funding for it so far.
Oh, it crushed.
2.3 million.
It made over $1 million the first day.
Yeah, right now on my screen it shows that it has 24 days left and has exactly 9,999 backers.
Yeah.
So either they maxed out the counter, and that's as high as it goes, or I'm just at the rare occasion where I'm just one away from 10,000.
Yep.
Neat.
Now, they also released a buttload of miniatures for this thing, which all look absolutely amazing, and I want all of them, but I don't have the many hundreds of dollars that it would take to get them.
Yeah, and I don't have the patience to paint any of them. So.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
I don't paint minis. Yeah, but you love minis.
I don't like unpainted minis.
Oh, is that what? Yeah, that's fair. You do always buy the ones that are already pre-painted.
Yep, that's why I can't play Warhammer.
Yeah, because they only want painted armies.
Yep, and you can't play with the gray army because you have attack disadvantage.
I don't think that's really a thing, but if you're playing in a tournament, I know that you get lower points because your army's not painted, unless it's a tournament that's wanting unpainted armies. So yeah, just to go over it real quick, the $90, the RPG Deluxe box set comes with the RPG rulebook with gold foil and faux leather cover. The 16 class ability card decks, 16 advanced class modifier decks, 8 ancestry ability card decks, base modifier decks for 5 players, 50 background cards, the Gloom Master screen, 6 element trackers, and the deluxe battle chest box to hold it all in glorious comfort.
And how much is that again?
$90. It's a lot of stuff for not a lot of money.
Yeah, but I'd have to get the big one.
What do you mean the big one? That is the big one.
No, the big one. It comes with Gloomhaven 2nd Edition, the RPG Deluxe box set, the miniatures base set, the miniature summon set, the miniature Forgotten Circle set.
You said you wouldn't get the minis. They're not painted.
I'm not. Well, I'm not going to get anything. I mean, and it has the foreteller audio narration of Gloomhaven Second Edition. Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna buy something, go big.
Yeah, that's fair. I gotta say the audio narration, because we're using it for Frosthaven, and it is fantastic, man.
What
Like
is the audio narration?
so every time that we go into a new scenario in the board game, at least, and that's what it would be for, is the Gloomhaven Second Edition or second printing board game. But every time you go into one of these adventures, you play it. And, it might be a few minutes long, and it's just sort of a setup. That's completely voice acted, lots of fantastic sound effects and everything. Leading you up to the what are we about to do? Oh shit, we have to fight these giant crab people. Oh, we're chasing down this guy through some alleyway. Like, it's all set up like that. But
Do they talk like crab and look like people?
no, the crab people don't.
Okay.
But they are crab people.
I mean, the miniatures, the actual models themselves look pretty hot.
Yeah, they are.
Just like if you're gonna go that far, make so many good models, why not get them painted?
Because a lot of people like to paint their own shit. So we're playing Frosthaven right now, and my buddy Mike has, because when you buy Frosthaven or Gloomhaven, it comes with minis for all the characters. And it doesn't come with all the monsters, but it comes with all the characters. And he's been painting every single one we're playing. He likes doing that. He also bought the Masters of the Universe board game, and he's been painting all of those too.
Those don't come pre-painted?
No, of course not.
Oh, see, that's why I'm just gonna buy Onslaught.
Lazy bum.
I mean, the only mini here that's painted is the Rock Golem.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't paint them either. I'd just be playing with gray minis.
To be fair, like I bought the Ghostbusters board game, and it came with all the Ghost minis as well.
Right.
But at the very least, the Echo one is a white mold, and all the Ghost minis that are there are like blue, green, or pink, but they're all translucent plastics.
Yeah.
So at least that I don't have to paint them. They're translucent, Painting them would lose just a lot of the translucentness. So I don't have to paint those, and that's like as close as I can get. But I still have the Ghostbuster team that I need to get painted.
Did you ever play the game though?
Twice.
Oh, okay. Well, that's. I'm glad you actually played it.
It was fun. We had to chase Slimer down before the ghosts swarmed us, and then the ghosts swarmed us. It was really kind of cool. We had to like escort the Echo one like down the street, and like every block we went, we would turn on the Echo one like ghost vac thing that it had, and would suck all the ghosts in. It was a lot of fun. It was just it's a lot like Zombicide, where it just you get overrun by ghosts pretty quickly. So
yeah.
I don't own any copy of Zombicide, but I have Ghostbusters, which is essentially Zombicide.
Yeah, I own 2 copies, 2 of the different Zombicide ones. Most of the adventures we've played through, we've handled quite well. Every once in a while, you don't. But yeah, if you have to keep moving in Zombicide, if you sit still for way too long, you will absolutely just get overrun.
Yeah, they had a Zombicide something for free RPG day as well.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I'm not sure if it's an actual like role-playing game. I think it is.
Huh.
I mean,
I'd play that.
Yeah, it seemed interesting. I didn't pick it up though.
Next time.
It was a file for Oh, you can get it right now. You can download it for free online.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to go back and look online for free RPG Day stuff. I never did that.
Yeah, you can just download a lot of stuff and get it for free.
Yep. Probably just go to freerpgday.com.
No, actually, you have to go to like the sites.
Oh no, yeah.
Like Zweihander had something for free RPG Day, but it wasn't in the kit. You actually have to go to Zweihander's website and download. But I think it's like the whole second edition rulebook.
For Zweihander?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Damn, dude. Okay, yeah. So I'm actually on the Goodman Games site. That was the first one that popped up on Google search for me, oddly enough. And it looks like they had a ton of free stuff. So
I mean, it's probably still available, right?
I'm hoping. I'm gonna see if I can start downloading things.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Yeah, you can get this Zweihander Session 0 role-playing game with all the rules right now. You just have to sign up and give them your information. Yeah.
That's another setting I'd definitely be down for giving a try was Zweihander. I've seen the book a bunch of times.
It's streamed quite a lot too. I don't know why. I mean, like I see more probably Zweihander streams than I do D&D.
Huh. This may be something I have to look into. I can actually buy the book locally. I've seen it in a couple of stores near here.
Yeah, do that. Talk about that next week.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have it that soon, but yeah, it's something for a future podcast for sure. Anyway, I think I'm about done here. You got anything else?
I'm about to buy a Johnny 5 Lego robot kit and then build him for my desk.
Hopefully not all that tonight.
Yes.
Maybe the buying part, but how are you gonna? Are they gonna just put it on your doorstep tonight? Just get 20-minute delivery from Amazon.
Yeah, they're gonna launch the bricks out of a little cannon in the store in Nebraska and aim and get my house.
Hell yeah!
It's the wave of delivery in the future. It's not unmanned drones.
That's when everybody
cannons.
starts putting up nets above their houses to just collect shit that's flying by.
That's why actually they kind of like along with not getting whatever the clearances from the federal agency, the FFA or whatever.
The drone delivery service, yeah.
The drone delivery, people immediately found like what areas were having the drones and started running around with net launchers to capture all the drones.
Yeah.
Like,
of course they did.
That's mean. Come on.
Yeah, criminal's got a criminal, man.
This dystopian hellscape is not turning out as dystopian hellscape as I wanted to. It's just lame.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would have been down for I would have just sit out on the street, just with a cold drink and a chair, just watching people drive by with net launchers.
What's it is? Oh, hand cream.
Baby
What's this,
diapers.
a Johnny 5 Lego kit?
Hell
Sweet.
yeah. All right,
he
guys.
stands 6.5 inches tall.
I'm out of here. Bye, Craig. Bye, Chris.
It's 4 inches wide.
That's what she said.